don't care who likes it or not. As long as we know it's the truth. As long as we know it's the truth.
In lands where you have seasons even, where you grow food, and mango, and apple, and orange, and nature has it so that when the fruit is ready, all you gotta do is stand underneath the tree and it'll just fall in your hands. You gain a relationship with others that is a sharing. You know, that if someone come by your house and say, you know, I haven't eaten, I've been on the road for a while, say, go ahead. Take what you want. Hoping, of course, that you won't take more than what you need. Take what you need, because when you get down the road, you're hungry again, there'll be somebody else with something there, and hopefully they'll share. So you take 8 mangoes, because that's what you need to eat right now, because you're hungry. Nobody said you put 2 of them back, because they knew that the creative force would give you another tree, another 8 to 80 to 800. You would never go without. The whole idea of refrigerators, because you're afraid you might not have it tomorrow. In Africa, they don't have refrigerators. They use salt.
Right.
They didn't use refrigerators because you didn't have to freeze things. At best, you used salt to preserve. And then you washed off the salt, and then you could eat or do whatever you wanted to. But in the 51st parallel, where it's very cold, you don't have sharing. Just like I said, if you saw a little animal that you kind of enjoyed, and you saw your best friend chasing after that animal, you said, hey, I don't need that animal, I'm going after my best friend. You ate him. And why not? Because you didn't have no trees up there. You didn't have fruit, you didn't have vegetables. So, and by the way, I'm talking about African people. I'm not talking about European people yet. Europeans don't come on the scene, and I'm giving them a lot of credit. The Europeans did not exist on this planet until about 8,000 BC. They weren't on the face of this planet. They didn't exist. 8,000 BC. The whole world was colored up until then. Cro-Magnon was an essence of life that was a direct divide of African and European that we would know today. Europeans are not old. Japanese are no older than 6,000 years. Chinese no older than 10,000. They're not old on this planet, but because they've been around during our lifetime, we see them as being around a long time. But they haven't been around. The world, and if you go back far enough, the only people on the planet were Africans. If you go back far enough, the only place where people exist is in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Don't make a difference if you're German, Japanese, Native American, or whatever. Whatever human you are, your original ancestors came from a particular area, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, in the Great Lakes region. Next time we're here, I'll have the maps up. And out of this, Africans diversified and moved along happy the Nile River, going north and going south, swinging through the Australian, Madagascar, Australia, Tasmania, into the Polynesian, the Melanesian islands, going north up into Europe, and the Rift Valley. The Rift Valley is a valley that goes directly up along the Happy Valley and sidesteps right into what today would be the southern lands of Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, all that area there. So you can see human movement coming up out of Africa. But the problem was that we got caught in the Worm Ice Age. And in getting caught in the Worm Ice Age, which was the 4th Ice Age, because there were 4 ice ages: the Gunz, the Mindel, the Riss, and the Worm. And between every ice age, there was what is known as an interstadial, or a warming period. After the Riss Ice Age, Africans, as Homo erectus, moved up, and Homo sapien moved up into Europe. I shouldn't have said it that way. Homo erectus is the first African outside of Africa. Homo sapiens moved up into this part of the world, not knowing of the Ice Age, got caught in the 51st parallel, which cuts Europe in half, created ice mountains that didn't allow them to revert back or return back into the southern lands. They were locked into the northern part of the climate, and here Africans depigmented themselves because of the lack of vitamin D. These Africans then, in continuing their life, could only mate with themselves, so they inbred. And mutants inbred with mutants. And as they did that, they became lighter and lighter, but unfortunately sicker and sicker. Sicker physically.
The Europeans depigmentized that.
Yes, exactly. And the vitamin D. There's a chapter in The African Presence in Early Europe where Charles Finch talks about this. He talks about the Tyr minus, TYR. Remember I said tyrosinase, tyrosine? There's TYR minus, TYR plus. TYR plus are your Italians, your Jews, your Europeans that when they get on the beach, they get brown. The Tyr minus range from those that get deep red, lobster red, to albinoid that can't go on the beach at all. That's the tire minus. Tire minus means that you cannot produce the tyrosinase in your system to be able to melanate yourself.
That's where the cancer is weak.
Well, that's where weakness comes from, because even we get sick. Even we get sick. African folk get cancer. African folk get sick. In fact, a lot of the reason why we get sicker than they, they say that we lead illnesses, is because our bodies, although strong, are not exposed to certain things, like canned food. Say again?
I was just saying your body's more formed to it.
Exactly.
More formed to it, so it's not built immune system.
Exactly. Don't have an immune system. You see, if you're in the cold, you can, on New Year's Eve, you can jump in Brighton Beach water. You see, and come back, oh, not me. I am home watching that on TV. You're not going to see me out there.
That's become a disease within them.
Yes.
The simple fact that they can, their immune system
Exactly.
is dead to the fact that it's natural.
Exactly, and that is why their greatest disease is skin cancer. Australia, that's the #1 killer in Australia.
Florida and California.
Yeah. They have a slogan in Australia. It says slip, slap, and slop. It's a national slogan throughout all. When you're traveling in Australia, it says slip, slap, and slop. Slip on a t-shirt, slap on a hat, and slop on some suntan lotion. That's what it is. That's what they say. If I can go back to my brother and then my sister, I'll come directly to you. Please go.